teams are gonna pick up what I assume is their mids here.
Mm.
Um, I mean, I don't know. I haven't really seen any Void Spirit carries,
I
so
have.
I'm
It
guessing.
was a certain
I
team
saw
you.
it just in the beginning, I think, when the hero came out, and it didn't really look that good. So
I think I saw it more recently. I think we actually might cast it, or I cast one of them. Was it was actually to mention the people you already brought up, Bait in Omega League, where they
right.
tried running a Void Spirit carry, but obviously the dynamics in that team, like they sometimes like to run the two as the carry, so
Hmm.
it was different. But he did try like the Deso build, and it just felt very, I want to say, underwhelming.
Yeah, no, I don't think Void Spirit is much of a carry. Uh, yeah, okay. So both teams kind of picking their mid, unless for some reason this is some Invoker 4 or whatever, right?
Mm.
It could also be a Magnus as a 4 or 5 or whatever it is.
Yeah, the laning matchup is good for Invoker though, right? Because you can always dispel the Resonant Pulse and then just harass the Void Spirit.
Yeah, I think the Invoker matchup is it's kind of decent. I mean, you're not really gonna get pushed back. The one thing Void Spirit can just try to push the lane, but you can be okay with that. And it's gonna be a Luna ban, so yeah, kind of respecting that, like the combination there of like Luna with Beast and also with the Shadow Demon with the disruption and that's the Wisp helping you out. I think
Mm-hmm.
seems like a pretty decent hero. And they don't really have like any good halberd builders just yet. I mean, you could build it on the Void and also on the Magnus, but it's not ideal.
Yeah, on the checklist of things I need, that's usually pretty far down for these two heroes.
Hmm.
Will be a Medusa ban from Khan, so they're just getting rid of like these obvious kind of ranged heroes, like you mentioned. The Heaven's Halberd is really a big driving factor for them, as they don't have room for that really. These heroes, whereas Khan, what they're really lacking now, like we said, this could be a case of their mid heroes coming up, or this could be like what else are we thinking? Another support maybe, because I know some teams still do that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, it kind of looks like they want to pick just like a 4 or 5, which is kind of strange, saving that for your last pick. But
I've
if you
seen
don't
some
have the
teams
last
do
pick
it.
anyways, then it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter that much, right? If you're first pick, then saving your mid for the absolute last pick, it just might get banned out. So you might as well pick whatever you want now and then take a support, or you pick something that kind of can go both both ways, and then you can just play the waiting game.
And if you want to go that way, maybe both ways. Something like a tiny, possibly. I'm kind of surprised he's still in.
Yeah, tiny potentially, maybe even something like just something that lets you flex kind of the Magnus and whatnot. I'm not sure there is a great pick that can do both. It's just gonna be a support shaman. So guessing this is the 4, probably Grimstroke your 5. I mean, there's some pretty cool combinations here with the Grimstroke, right? The double Hicks, double Shackle, etc.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Shaman's better in the four, right? It's this hero that you want to have a little bit of gold on, whether it's just an
You
Aether or a
definitely do.
Blink.
Yeah, no, Shaman hates playing as a 5. I think this is also a hero that you don't see that much these days. I feel like
No.
this hero does not get a lot of play, which is kind of sad because it's a nice hero.
Yeah, it gives you that kind of decisiveness a lot of the time around an objective, right? You drop your wards, and it's like you just marked your territory. But I guess
Mhm.
maybe the issue with that is then you become very committed to an extent, right? It's
Yeah, I
not like
mean
an
the thing is,
exorcism, for example.
I think what we're seeing a lot of the time nowadays is we're seeing these lineups with a lot of low cooldowns, right?
Hmm.
Where you don't really want to have to fight around your ultimates or your long cooldown spells, but rather you just
Yeah.
yeah you just play around just quick Dota, and
And
it is gonna be the gyro once more.
yes.
So
So they are going to go for. They're basically like they looked. They went, okay, we like these parts of Vikings draft. We'll just switch out those little pieces there, and we're pretty much Viking. Let's go.
yeah, I
You
mean the
have good
question is,
stackers
like
as well.
they picked the same heroes or similar heroes to Viking, but can they play like Viking? That's the question.
Mm.
Who's going to be Boom? Who's going to be Shad? We'll see. Can they make work?
I mean, that is kind of the dream right now because I'd say Viking are quickly proving themselves the team to beat, at least with these opening days from what we've seen in comparison so far.
Yeah, definitely. So far, Viking kind of look strongest team out there. Potentially, maybe Mud Golems, but I don't know. I feel like
You need more
Viking might
data.
be even stronger. Yeah, you definitely need more data.
But to go back to like the point in the Shama as well, where you're talking about like these kind of cheap spells, right? Low cooldowns. I think it's also because wards is such a static ultimate, right? Like, and it doesn't do as much as say, for example, an Enigma or a Black Hole. for what you're doing, right? Whereas
Hmm.
things that accomplish similar goals, exorcism comes to mind, Lycans with shapeshift. You actually have that dynamic element at play. You can move on to next things. Like whereas, say you take a fight near the ancient area as a shaman, your wards are stuck there. You can't use them to then go take Roach or take a Tau.
Yeah, I know exactly. I mean, the wards are used like you definitely commit them, but at the same time, it's not like shaman is completely useless, right?
No.
You still have hex, you have shackle. Like later on, if you get to this Ether lens, I mean, you've got this nice 100 cast range talent, or even the hex cooldown if you want it, but you have a lot of disable on this hero. The max duration being 5 on this shackles when it's maxed out, so shaman
Yeah.
he can do quite a lot even without his wards.
And you damn well need it as well, right? This is a very vulnerable hero. It's more, I always kind of measure him as a momentum type hero, right? If you are pushing the advantage in the fight, you feel good. But
Hmm.
the moment things push back, he's usually the first one to fall.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, shaman is definitely not one of those. You do not want to be tanking a lot of spells
Or
or
any.
other attacks or anything. Yeah, you don't want to be tanking. You
Yeah.
also can't really run like even with the boots. He's 330, which is just one of the
Sad.
slower heroes in Dota.
Has a lot of right click damage though. Starts with decent armor as well. So other stats wise, not
His
bad.
base armor is, I mean, his base damage is great. So they have a lot of high damage heroes in this lane. Like Gyro's base damage is not the best. He's only sitting at 53 damage together with the, I mean, when he has the fairy fire. So they could look to get a lot of the nice just in this lane and play on the kind of the CS battle if you're Magnus and Rasta here.
I'm just waiting to see Egnat level overcharge level 1 and somehow beat a shaman in a 1v1.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's got the same build that we saw coming out of Celery last game.
Yeah, I mean he was probably watching that and he thought to himself, damn, that looks good.
That actually looks like I get to be my own independent IO. The dream. So we've seen this bot lane with these two cores before, different supports, but I feel like compared to that previous series, these supports offer similar things to when it was Rubik and which hero was it? Was it Phoenix? Yeah, Phoenix.
Hmm.
So do we expect this to be similar in that regards, where the Beastmaster at level 3 should make this lane very hard for either of these two to sit in?
I think that the Grimstroke offsets a little bit of this, as he can kind of help push the wave with his Stroke of Fate. Um, and I also think that the Shadow Demon is not Rubik, right? He does not do the same things that
Yeah.
Rubik does in this lane. He can be kind of annoying, but he's not a Rubik, that's for sure. So I
And
think this lane is slightly easier, but I mean, once this beast does get to his book, the game becomes very difficult for the Faceless Void.
it is a little bit harder for you to push the beast in this game, though, right? Because, as you mentioned, that Grimstroke can shove out with Stroke of Fate. Really effective against the Zoo metas.
Yeah, just overall being good at kind of dealing with pushing Grimstroke.
All right, mid so far. Oh, whoa.
And Natty Narwhal, he's stepping up.
I mean, very big natty. I want to know where this name came from, to be honest with you. Some people just have those names where you need the origin story, and Natty Narwhal is definitely one of them.
Maybe he just likes narwhals.
Yeah, he's natty, but he's going nutty. I mean, 4-7. Like, 7 denied. I know it's a Quaswex Invoker, but that's still impressive. I'm just going to watch this. Like, I'm just taking notes. I want to go pub later.
Yeah, you're just watching the mid lane.
Sure. Like, the way he's making this work, it's almost like I'm staring at an SF against, like, a hard-hitting hero. Right? Where it's like the first level's like, I ain't getting any CS.
I mean, the thing is, Void Spirit has a pretty good attack animation. His attack speed is not bad either, and just he has higher damage than the Invoker, so.
Yeah, most definitely. It's just usually you see maybe 2 deny advantage, not 8. Meanwhile, top, we do see the first blood coming out. It is on the Gilgar in the end. You could kind of feel it going this way. I mean, they were burning through Khan's regen so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, Shaman is susceptible to dying. Like we mentioned earlier, he is one of those squishy heroes that it's kind of easy to. You misstep once and you're doomed. Even though you have boots, you're still kind of slow.
Well, yeah, it's also, you can have these boots, right? But say you get jumped on, it's like that mobility matters for nothing when you go shackle someone and tell your carry to run away, for example. You're like, oh, no, no, no.
Hmm.
I am Boromir right now. Don't just go. Deliver the ring. And it's definitely starting to feel a little bit rough for him, rather. Bot is looking really good for Snatch, though, as well.
Yeah, he's just gonna be a happy beast here. I'm expecting him to just queue up this book and just, just commit to it. Like once he gets to the book one, like we've seen it happen quite a few times. This Beastmaster versus Faceless Void, you can just bully him out of the lane unless there are a lot of rotations, and you can just take his tower and park yourself in the enemy jungle and even rotate in towards this mid lane later on.
Of course, the difference between most of those games is Khan do have supports they can park in that dead lane, per se, right? And slow these pushes a little bit at least. Speaking of those supports, one of them is smoked up towards the mid lane, and they might be able to get 90 Narwhal here. But he has got the Simulate, move up to the high ground, but Gilga's there and waiting. The Remnant on point, the Cold Snap won't give him enough time to arrive. The Disruption interrupts the shackles. And it looks like 90 Narwhal can walk this one off just in time for his bottle to arrive. And he wants that DD, but he won't be able to get it. It does get denied by Gilga, and saves only level 2, so the poison isn't good enough.
Yeah, kind of nice there at least being able to deny that double damage. It would have been quite scary for the Invoker to play against that.
Especially with the XP advantage 90 Narwhal already has, right? Like, if Void Spirit reaches 6 first, you could easily see a situation in which he kills Invoker, because he has done a decent job of keeping Mia around the half HP mark.
Yeah, he's gonna get that level 5 now, so he might go for the third point in Quas if he feels like he needs it. Yeah, and he does. And Invoker's gonna have a little bit easier of a time now sustaining that 20 regen per second.
I spot Sadness in the top lane.
It depends if you're, Empire or if you're Shadow Shaman.
I'm feeling sad for the Shaman. I mean, even Lightless is looking. He's probably just like, he's got a very kind of sad frown. He's going, poor Shaman. Why did they give you this hero, Gilga? What
Do
were
you
they
really
hoping?
think he's thinking poor Shaman, or do you think he's thinking,
Well,
haha?
yeah, it's more like, look at
The-
you. Well, I
From
feel
The
bad for
Simpsons,
him. You're going that way, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I haven't watched a good Simpsons episode in a while. The one that
Yeah.
always stands out to me is the killer wig.
I'm not sure I remember that one.
Slash low. Import low. They do get the
Stage 4
kilogram
is
stroke
gonna
first.
go down. He's gonna
Yeah.
salve up a little bit here, but there's gonna be another jump.
If he gets the bash. But he doesn't. And all of a sudden
If
the
he
body
does
block.
not, he might actually be in trouble here.
I think he might be
There's
dead.
no mana on the Shadow Demon though.
Yeah, but he's
It's clearly
clarity.
up.
Time Walk is still on cooldown for
needs
8
to get-
seconds.
He needs 2 more of these poisons, I think, for the Void
Yeah.
to be dying.
Yeah, he was
At
actually
least he gets to
saved by
deal
the
quite a bit of
catapult,
damage there.
by the way, because the ball was being attacked by the Kati, so it couldn't keep going.
Right. Yeah, but now we do see this level 5 Beastmaster. I mean, he might have to do the Walk of Shame back to base. No boots. Oh, he's bringing in a Salve. So he's just going to be fine. And he's going to have this little, like, the level 5 boars now. Soon closing in on that Necro 1.
Yeah, and it doesn't get any easier from here on out. That was kind of Naive's opportunity to take a lead. Speaking of not taking leads, though, Gilga has been caught again. And apparently learning
Yeah,
from
and
crit isn't teaching him enough.
This might be one of the reasons, we don't get to see this Shaman that often. He is kind of clunky and quite susceptible to dying against a lot of different heroes.
Yeah, it's just always that case of Shackles sounds great until I tell you you're stunning yourself as well.
I mean, at least he's dealing damage to the enemy, right?
I knew you were going to
Imagine if
say
he
it.
was
I'm
dealing
like,
to
come
himself.
on.
Yeah. Yeah, come on.
I mean, like it's not bad damage level 2, but still.
It's something.
It's not enough, apparently.
It's something. No, it's probably not enough. No.
Like my point would be this. Look at the top lane. Did you notice the odd one out at all?
You mean the Shaman?
Yeah, have you
Zero
noticed
and
how
three. Zero.
everyone else is level 5 and he's sitting down at level 3
And
with
he's-
another death?
I don't really understand though what Cheshire Cat is doing. I feel like he's just selling his Shaman there. I feel like he can just tank a little bit of the Rocket Barrage with him and even potentially skewer them in under the tower, and then Shaman can shackle them. So I feel like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. If I'm Kilgear there, sure, you're dying, but I feel like it's also on your on the core in your lane. If your core is not doing your job, it becomes difficult to play support as well.
But Gilga, you know, is a professional player. He'll refuse the temptation to queue up a 4-staff to sell his Magnus back. But
Yeah, there's gonna be now the Necro Book is flying out to Shakalo, and he's gonna hit 6 very soon here. And so I think this staying in this lane is gonna be kind of scary for Naive if he's not topped off in terms of health.
especially if they start by like, you know, 1 or 2 poison stacks and then into the Primal Roar, you're definitely dead. There's no way J4 can save you there.
Yeah, and he's just gonna pop those books right away and just farm some neutrals, farm some creeps, and just make the most out of it.
Moving top. Gilga's had enough of being beaten around. He says, if I bring my big brother, he'll make you pay. Naya has been shackled. A lot of damage being done, but not really enough. He's just going to tether away. Tornado through will kill him off in the end, though. There might be a price, though. With the dust reveal, they see everything. Gilga does throw out the Hex, but they don't care. They see Mio. They chase Mio. They kill Mio.
Yeah, he's MIA now instead of MIO.
Hey. Got him. I saw the attempt on the bot lane, right? Like, as soon as they noticed that Shachlo's alone, they tried to get a good stroke of fate to maybe encourage a chrono, but it's just not happening. Shachlo's been on point with his positioning so far.
Yeah, he's also quite tanky, just has a lot of HP, and you know, with the boars kind of slowing down the Faceless Void and just the books being up, it's pretty scary to initiate onto the Beastmaster. I do like the fact though that Naive is going for this Mask of Madness build. I mean, it's something I've talked about a few times when you see this, like a lot of these Faceless Voids choosing to go for this Midas, but with the Mask of Madness, you're able to actually fight a lot earlier and deal damage. And he does have the Magnus who can help him kind of catch up.
Gilga? I don't think it's happening like that, bud. Nino actually just turned around. That's how confident he is right now. It's like, yeah, please, I dare you, because I got a reload play coming in. You'll be able to get the rune, and then you can easily turn around and kill off Gilga. Already zoned other heroes away. Naive trying to go in with the Inkswell, but he sees no play, as he's already lost his Shaman. Chase in, though. And they've already lost another one. Chrono's going to go down. Shachlo has to pay a price for this greed. And it will be a kill onto the Beastmaster. So Naive able to bite back.
Yeah, it's a pretty big kill. I mean, Kilgir now with 5th death at the 10-minute mark. They are killing these two supports quite a lot, but at least Naive is having a decent game. The Invoker is still having a decent game, and Cheshire Cat is, I mean, he's still in it. You know, he had a pretty rough laning stage up against the Gyro Wisp, but he's still trying.
Yeah. No max in power yet, though, so it's not ready to be a farm machine or enable another farming machine. He'll get there.
Now the Beast is coming back to this lane now, and
Not alone, though.
now it gets pretty scary for Void to sit here. And he does jump away, but he might actually just get ran down here.
Primal Roar, Rainbow TP's coming in, but they're not going to be quick enough.
Yeah, just very easy kind of in and out there by old Natty.
Good old Natty.
Good old Natster.
Not looking too tight, you know.
We are
Looking
gonna
a
have
bit
those.
nice.
Finally, he's got that 6 on the Shaman. Gonna have those snakes. You can go up towards the top lane, you know, try to drop some snakes, see if he can deal some tower damage. And it looks like there's gonna be an Orchid queued up by the Void Spirit here.
Okay. Doesn't really feel the Ags is the better choice here. I kind of see it, right? Like, your main thing is, let's just silence up the Invoker. If we eliminate him right now, can't have no other way of fighting outside getting a godlike RP.
Oh, and he does manage to.
Nice.
Yeah, he got the bottle. That's a pretty big rune at this stage of the game.
Just shy of the level 2 Astral Steps, and now you have that additional mobility with that rune. You can make some cheeky plays.
Yeah, they get this top tower now, and yeah, Void just keeps farming. I mean, he didn't have like the best lane, right? Like, you never do against the Beastmaster really as a Faceless Void. You just you don't have any tools to kind of deal with this hero or the boars, so you're not really expected to have a good lane. But he's catching up now, finding some farm with this Empower.
The problem is that it looks like Empire, they want to get a new influx of gold into the Gyro. Not only they farm this jungle, but they're posturing towards this tier 1 in the mid.
Might be in trouble now.
Uh-oh. There's the haste rune being used, but he decides against it once he sees Naive. That does mean they know the
he got a
location
little
of
bit scared
heroes,
there. He got spooked. He didn't know that the chrono was still on cooldown for like a couple more seconds, so
Even then, like it would take you that extra few seconds to kill Gilgar, at which point you are going to get chronoed.
Yeah. And now Book 2 is flying out to Shaklo, and yeah, he's kind of just parked himself in this here enemy jungle, and he's just gonna keep staying here. I don't know, man. I hate seeing when people do this. Why are you? Oh, he actually did get the Book 2 before he. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
it's fine. He just got it thrown out. Yeah, so he's gonna use this book and just take all of this farm. And I mean, this is gonna become a pretty big Beastmaster this game. They're gonna have a lot of core, a lot of farm on all their cores, basically, on Team Empire. Gyro and the Wisp are farming, Beast farming, and the Void Spirit is also just, while making plays, he's also getting some farm. So
Yeah, and there's been some reasonable stacking. I mean, not as much as we saw last game, but the
yeah, I mean,
way
there's no Shad,
Empire's...
no Shad Gyro, but he's he's trying. He's trying his best.
Exactly. And in fairness to them, the way they've kind of offset that is they've spent more time taking gold away from the Radiant jungle, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. The Khan heroes are kind of suffering in terms of farm. So it looks like Naive is going to queue up the Manta here next.
He knows the man. He knows the orc is coming. They might catch Natty if he steps out any further. Interesting place to put the mango tree as well. The problem is Natty sees it. The mangoes fell outside of the tree line. Whoops.
Right. Maybe not the most ideal placement.
So I believe the lesson here, guys, as many people will tell you, just drop the mango tree in your base. For the love of God. Think of all the free mangoes you'd be having right now. Look at the heroes in Khan and tell me they would not like some easy access mangoes.
Well, you'd like some of them mangoes.
Oh, I mean, I love my mango loco right now, so I definitely would love some of those mangoes.
So
Maybe
Mio
mine's
now.
already juiced though.
Does Mio also? Yeah, Mio actually also went for the orchids. So both mid laners, they're kind of just rushing this orchids. Invoker completes his first. Void Spirit is going to be finishing his very soon as well. And Shaklo has now the book 3 flying out to him. I feel like Empire, they're pretty much just ready to go in battle right now. There's Cheshire Cat is getting pretty close to his blink, so potentially you could try to take a fight before that.
Catch low. A little bit of a jam here. It's alright though, they got disruption to save the day. Gilga's dying to the army, and the timing on which Latchlow comes out, able to escape. J4 has to retreat.
Yeah, and they also just get to clear those wards with those illusions. Easy for Sayu.
And I think we got another preview as to why people don't pick Shaman.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really say that it's been working out that well so far. Also, this being like the last pick of the for Khan, so maybe gonna rethink that one for the next game.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a case they looked and saw they didn't really have any ability to take towers, right? And maybe they got over fixated on that detail. But right now we're going to focus on the details of Empire's draft. So moving forward, the Orchid, it is thrown out back towards Void Spirit though, so he can't get the follow-up on Cheshire Cat. And he needs to be careful because they do get the Phantom's Embrace and kill him off. Naive chasing in with the Chrono. The problem is he doesn't catch the IO. He has to turn on to him now, but they just don't have the damage. The double save power of Empire makes it very hard for these Chronos to pay off. And they're going to try. RP does catch the tube. The Primal Raw turnaround from Magnus going to bring him down. And they still cannot kill this Gyro. They're trying to get rid of the IO. It's impossible though. They have to back up. With the army of the Beastmaster here now, things just got real scary. J4's going to be brought down. Naive trying to turn around, do the damage things well. We'll be able to bring down the IO. That should be the end of the fight, unless they find Gilgar at the end, which they most definitely will. There's the shackles, and all of a sudden you're stuck on the spot. However, Naive does come back to save as possible.
Saving Private Gilgar.
Sounds like quite the movie. I think it'd be popular in the CIS region. There's just a tiny running in and tossing people away. I mean, just imagine that in slow-mo as well. It looked majestic.
Yeah, so in that fight, I mean, it seems like Khan came out like a few hundred gold and a few hundred XP on top, but you had to use a lot of your spells and you didn't really win a fight handedly at all, so...
Whisper, there's disruption save, and Khan may have just baited themselves into their death. A missile connects onto Mio, movement forward, and he's already gone. And I mean, to follow up on your point, I think what you're about to say is, well, Khan come out a little bit ahead in terms of gold. They're really behind in terms of team fight once they use all those big fat ultimates.
Yeah, they just really can't. I mean, they can't really square up against this. Like the book 3 from the Beast, the heal from the IO already has now that mech completed, and just kind of the damage from this Void Spirit, and also just Sayu with a lot of saves this game. Like he's just making it so difficult for them to kill anyone. And this is just gonna turn into kind of a free roll here for Empire.
We're just getting a
Gyro has
preview.
to drop some items. Hello.
It's a fairy fight. Could have healed with that right there. And reload. Oh no, Gilga, no.
Gilgir is.
He didn't even
I mean,
have the mana to
he's
throw
really
down
struggling.
the wards.
He's having a rough one, that's for sure.
If there was, sometimes I say Gilga Smash, but if there was going to be a Twitch emote for him right now, it'd be Gilga Spank. Duh. Gilga,
Yeah.
very much spanked.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, having a rough one here. And it's this Gyro now is quite close to just having this completed BKB here. Just a few hundred gold off.
As if he wasn't already nigh on unkillable.
Yeah, I mean he's pretty much just copying what Shad was doing in the previous game, just with some worse timings. That's all.
He's just alt tabbing, checking on the Dota buff page. Like, oh yeah, that's where we went next. Okay. It's working so far. Problem is when you look across at naive, yeah, you've got this Manta now, but you got this awkward situation. Like, do you get your BKB or do you go for an MKB? Because by the time you have a BKB, for example, Gyro will have a butterfly.
Yeah, I mean at the same time he does now have like finally now he's starting to feel a little bit comfortable pushing some of these waves. He's not as scared. There is a blink on the Beastmaster, I was just about to say, and I think Gilgir might once again go down here.
I tried to hide it. It's not pretty to look at. We're just
It looks like he's just queuing up the MKB here on the Void, so just going all out aggression.
Yeah, they're kind of maybe the way on this is, well, they've got all this XP, which means any fight we take to beat them, they're off the map for longer. So instead of worrying about survivability, we just need to get maximum value out of our big team fight that we have with the RP and the Chrono.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's fine to just going in on aggression. I think it's totally okay. Like you don't want to be lacking damage in a game like this. There's so much healing and like the disruption from the SDA. You're gonna need all the damage you can get.
You know, the catch from this SD. It's just becoming more and more pesky. Having that blink dagger now. Going back for the Aether Lens next, and then yeah, you can already see the Ags has been queued up after that.
Yeah, I'm really liking kind of so far what Empire are doing in this game. It's just it's pretty easy for them to play this game, just kind of from how the laning stage went. But yeah, they're not really making any like too stupid or risky moves, and yeah, so far so good.
Take notes, folks. At this point, I'd be yelling at my team, let's do something. But they just know. They can keep scaling pretty formidably. And I think the thing I love about the way they play this draft as well is, like, the Voice Spirit is independent. The Beastmaster is really rough to bring down. So they can just focus all the protection on the Gyrocopter because he is that serious of a threat for Khan.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna have to deal with this gyro somehow, but it's not gonna be easy for them. There are saves in like both from the Shadow Demon and from the IO, so killing this gyro is going to be a tall ask.
We'll just have to see if maybe the Mag can stand tall. He's going towards the Shadow Blade next, so just looking for more forms of initiation in this game. Wonder if maybe is there a better choice here, or do you feel okay with him choosing to build a Shadow Blade of Mag?
It's kind of nice for him to get the Shadow Blade as there is a Hawk from the Beastmaster, right? And it looks like once again Gilgir, he's going to be on the receiving side. Yeah, no, on the Shadow Blade on the Magnus, it's kind of nice since there's a Hawk, right? So in order to get these RPs off, you might need to be Shadow Bladed up. so that you can actually kind of maneuver your way into a position where you can find an RP.
If you even get the Shadow Blade at this rate, Empire is not going to be too far off hitting that high ground. I mean, they're getting big value out of the Aegis, and there's only one Outlet Tower remaining for Khan. Sayu has come back. Of course, this can be an easy setup. If anyone's caught pushing here, they can go for the reload play. So, knowing this, Khan will back away.
I'm just kind of following Gilger, you know, like wherever he's going.
I've been trying to do the opposite. I was like, I don't want to look at you, Gilga. Love you, bro. I love watching you, but no. Just no.
I want to see where the action is, and I know he's gonna go down within the next 2 minutes or something. So I'm just like, I'll just follow the shaman.
It's like you're kind of drawing lines in your head of where Gilga can be safe, and you're just seeing him crossing. Like, buddy, that's enemy territory.
I mean, once he leaves the base, there's no safety.
Yep, that's where the line is. Like,
Cool.
buddy, you're behind enemy lines now. Luckily, he's got his squad with him this time, though. Just kind of waiting for that kind of stab into the center of the Khan formation that once again finds Gilga. A tracking device has just been planted on him. This is so awkward to push this tier 1. Thatcher having that blink dagger complete, but there we go. Gilga's done it. He's done it. He's placed the wards and he's lived, man.
Get him. Get that damage out. Oh no.
Oh.
I mean, he did force a glyph out, right? And then the snakes got farmed, so.
But he didn't die. If he had, he would have been officially 10. He would have been into double digits.
I mean, then it would have been.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And
no.
Gilgir?
No, why did I say it? They're not done, though. There's a bonus meal on the side. And it's J4.
And that's pretty much going to be the completed butterfly in the 200-300 gold for the gyro here. Void is getting kind of close to the MKB, though. So, I mean, there's not going to be a huge window where the Void can't actually hit the gyro. However...
Wow. There is a disruption, so technically he's still not going to be able to hit the gyro.
No, for sure, and that's the thing, you know, they still might be struggling quite a lot with the damage, seeing as, you know, they can just throw out this Purge on the Void, remove the Empower, and yeah, just make it difficult for him. Just try to save the gyro, you know, with the IO or with the Shadow Demon.
Yeah,
It's almost easy bringing him down.
It's almost like you're in a stage where you need this kind of simultaneous chrono into gyro IO, and then an RP that finds Sayu on the back line. Or I usually in this situation I'll say your shaman can do it, but he hasn't really got the tools to initiate. He's a little bit dirt poor.
He's kind of down there, yeah. He's down in the dumps, you know, swimming around in the in a
like you see all those receipts on him. Those are bar tabs that he hasn't paid yet. That's how poor he is.
Yikes.
Yeah, quite a lot of them. I don't blame the family.
Maybe it's toilet paper.
Maybe. I mean, any other time, I'd say if you're trading in toilet paper, you're really poor. But actually, I think 2020 may be the year. He's done it. He's placed the wards. He's running away. And he's gonna live.
I mean, those wards also, it's like the level 1 snakes, right? They're so pathetic. They, I mean, they die to 2 hits, there's no damage. It's like, oh, watching this one single snake deal damage to the towers. That's the highlight of this game so far for me.
He's still going. I mean, like, contributing a lot of damage there. Oh, there's going to be damage in this fight. Disruption is out Cheshire Cat. He has to skewer away just before the home missile contacts his face.
Yeah, the Void does have his MKB. I mean, Naive he's doing a good job trying to keep up in terms of farm. I mean, he's still up there, just not too far away from the gyro. He might go into either Lincoln's or BKB now next. Could also be the Satanic just for the status resistance, but he might need something defensive potentially. And I think Empire, they're just gonna go back to the now with the butterfly on the gyro. They're just gonna look to take this roche out. There's gonna be a smoke though from Khan, so.
The problem is this has to be very obvious to Empire, right? Because they found the Forge Spirit in the pit. So after eliminating it, they assume their opponents are going to come out. You can see the counter smoke. Who will blink first, though? They're kind of outbraining each other right now. It's like, oh yeah, they're definitely holding the high ground there. No, 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 they're coming around on the right. Yeah. Well, they're both going to converge on the high ground at more or less the same time. The smokes are going to break and it's going to become very obvious. Lightless goes in. Cooldown is out. Looking on a J4. They throw the Soulbind onto him, but he doesn't care.
Already this fight is it's bad for...
It's getting worse. Primal Roar is out.
Khan.
Naive. He's just gone. The Soul catches too much damage. The RP comes through, but it's too late. Sunstrike combo looks good, but Cataclysm doesn't do enough, and Cheshire Cat has to run away. He's not quick enough, though. Natty Narwhal's able to get him on the way out, and it's Gilger again. At least he's not alone when he dies this time.
If only Khan had one kill less, then for a moment there we would have had the supreme score.
Close. So close.
Yeah, they're not even gonna bother now with the Roche. With 3 heroes being down, the Void, they can expect that he doesn't have a buyback since, I mean, he just bought this MKB, so they're just gonna stay here with the Beastmaster, with the Aura. Also now with the Vlads, I mean, there's so much sustain for this Gyro. There's no reason for them to back at all. And also an Aeon Disc picked up by the Void Spirit in this game.
Yeah, it is on cooldown now.
Yeah, I mean, I quite like it. You know, in case should he ever get Chrome, there's gonna be this Aeon Disc. It's just gonna be difficult for them to kill him, and it's gonna give Zayu enough time to find a place to blink to and disrupt him, and so he's just never really gonna die.
It fits into that playstyle I was discussing a bit earlier, right? Is this whole notion of everything for Gyro, right? You need to be this independent force that doesn't need to be protected by either the IO or the Shadow Demon.
Yeah. Yeah, and you also don't have to be protected from Gilgear, because most likely he's just gonna be dead anyway.
He's just flopping on the ground at that point. Alright, look. That's okay. Easy cold snap force. Chase in. Hex comes out and a Beastmaster. Beast baiting. Chrono's going to go down onto the IO alone. There's Cataclysm again. BKB and the Soulbind leashes 2 together, but Gyrocopter doesn't care. The Primal Roar gets thrown out once more to Naive, and yep, he doesn't even wait for his death. He's like, that's it. Once again,
yeah,
it happens.
I mean,
GG.
I don't want to be mean, but this Shadow Shaman performance, it made Magikarp look like a very useful Pokemon. I must say, you know.
Magic, are you going to be that cruel to him?
I mean, the thing is, like, this Magikarp, he uses Splash, right? And it doesn't do that much, but this Shaman, he was 12 deaths deep.
Doesn't do anything.
Part of 2 kills.
Okay.
I don't know, man. Back to the drawing board there with the whoever had that idea of the Shaman pick. You know, you just gotta redeem yourself, my friend.
I don't think I can let you have that Magikarp one, right? Because Splash does nothing.
No.
No.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The Shaman, he did less than nothing. He did bad. You know, he did bad things. So.
Okay, I don't know if I give him Metapod because he's not tanky enough. He's a Caterpie. Gilga's a Caterpie.
He's Caterpie. Nah, I'm sticking with the Magikarp.
Is that too generous?
It's final. It's
final. Whoa. Yep. I mean, I'm gonna share on these. Look at these stats, okay? Gilga got 2 assists. 2. Check out this building damage he done. Okay, let's not look at that building damage. I mean, actually, it's the most building damage his entire team done. In fairness to him.
That's not bad. Not bad. Good stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. I can hear it in your voice. Yeah, Shaman, maybe not a hero, folks. Maybe don't resort to that. I mean, we had, I don't want to say high hopes in the draft, but we had ideas, right? We're like, oh yeah, you got like a Soulbind, and then there's a potential for double Hex and the double Shackles, and we forgot that actually kind of involves you being ahead. And when you're behind as a Shaman, the only thing that you get to do is you don't even get to run away. You just die every fight.
Yeah, no, that was kind of brutal there.
But impressive from Empire, actually. After a little switch to the roster, you wouldn't even notice it. Obviously, I have some familiar faces there, but usually when you introduce even one new element to the team, you're like, well, there might be a few teething issues, but pretty clean. And I wouldn't say Khan is necessarily a pushover usually, right? When we see them, we've seen, especially Gilga. I'm going to highlight him in a more positive light now. We're used to seeing him have some pretty amazing performances, usually on the back of things like Tiny or Earth Spirit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Gilger on the Tiny, I've seen him quite a few times be you know, put in a lot of work, but this game he kind of just, yeah, I mean, there was not not too much to be done.
He was just splashing about. And as a result, Team Empire, they start their day well with the game 1 victory, but we've got another one coming. Short break, then game number 2 between Khan and Team Empire.